You are live. I am live. We are live. Okay. It is October. First Tuesday, October, the first tasty Tuesday of October. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Whiskey friends far and wide, we are live for another happy hour. I'm Eric, your humble malt muser. Excited to have a couple pours, much needed ones at that this week. And we got 3 hours of good old fashioned whiskey chat coming at you tonight. I will set up the table for what you all can expect in just a few minutes. But first, let me see who is in the door. We got a lively chat already. We got 7 folks on. Awesome. Sláinte, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. As the weather starts turning, we're heading into a tense time here in the States. I mean, that's an understatement given what we've seen over the entire year, but that's going up even higher. Let's see what else is going on here. So first in the door tonight, I should have known. It's our friend up in Duluth saying hello from Duluth. Mise the French. I'm getting a fire going and pouring some Jameson Crested. Ready to sit back and enjoy Tasty Tuesday. Right on. Cheers, French. Thanks for swinging by. Daniel's in the house, too. What's up, everyone? Saying hi to French. Daniel's got some Willet Rye. Oh, yeah. Daniel knows a thing or two about that Willet Rye. He had sent me a couple samples a while back. Those were really, really good. So that's a new one. Cool. Very cool. Their life in 2020. What else is going on, y'all? Who else we got in the house? Donner Pass. What's up? Hey, he's got the Redbreast 15. Good stuff from the neck pour. Excellent. I have not had that 15-year-old yet. I do have a bottle of the 21 coming my way relatively soon. And so the 15 and the loose style are going to be the only ones of the core range that I've yet to try. But I've heard good things, especially recently, about that 15-year-old. I think somebody here was drinking that the other week, too. Let's see. That will be fun. Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a sec. All things must come to an end, good or bad. Food Quick is a review I saw and said the Redbreast 15 was one of the best whiskey experiences he has had. High praise. I saw that review as well. Oh, look, and Donner Pass said, yeah, he saw it a week or two ago, and that made him pull the trigger. There you go. I mean, you can trust the Quig. You can't trust the Quig. Who can you trust in this crazy world? Yeah, it will be fun to hear what you have to say about it, Donner. Hey, Whiskey Ace is in the house. What's up, Ace? Thanks for stopping by, man. Good to see you. Whiskey time with Eric. Indeed. It sure is. Cohen, what's up? Happy Tuesday. Silverlock, our friend outside in the Chicago burbs. What's going on? Yeah, right. I saw that news too. I don't know, for those who didn't know, Eddie Van Halen passed away today, 65 years old. I was never a big Van Halen fan, but I mean, you can't deny how their impact on music and his talent. Really sad. So, you know, the punches keep coming here in 2020, that's for sure. Ooh, Palo Cortado, Deanston, 1997. Peter White, our friend in Ontario. That sounds like an amazing pour. I've never had anything like that. You know, actually, I recently saw it was around $500. There was some type of it was a 1991 Deanston. It was like, yeah, super expensive that somebody was telling me about. Not sure if to pull the trigger on that or not. Is this your first pour of that one? Oh, you just finished the list out. Yeah, I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are on that one. That's not one I've had either yet. So, yeah, big hitter indeed. Yep, we are live. Daniel, thoughts on the taste of cake worth the money? I'm not sure. I haven't opened it yet. All right. We got 8 folks in the door. The chat's live. Say hi. Tell us what you're drinking. Let me set things up. So Tonight, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm starting things off with a little bit Russell's Reserve single barrel. This is a store pick, 9 years. It's out of the Wild Turkey. It's a bourbon. This is my second go around with the Russell's Reserve line. I don't really love it. It's good whiskey. It's quality. It's just not really my style. And despite it being 55% ABV, it somehow is a palate starter for me. Very sweet, cherry forward. A little bit later in the show, I'm going to crack open something new that I got. This might be something that folks on the West Coast have heard of, or maybe others for that matter. Westward, they are a distillery out of Oregon. This is an American Single Malt, 45% ABV. This is the introductory bottle of their range. They've been getting a decent amount of praise from a lot of folks, and so I'm really excited to try this out. NAS, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll crack this open. We'll take a taste. I'd love to hear in the chat if anybody's had anything from Westward before. And then probably around the bottom of the hour, we are going to sunset our 4-month journey with the Glen Scotia hand-filled single cask distillery bottle. This is the end of the line, folks. So we are going to, after a 2-week hiatus of tasting this because of some shipping issues with samples to some other folks, we're going to polish this off. And hopefully all 3 of our friends who won the Patreon raffle for samples of this will be able to join in about 25, 30 minutes. We'll all taste it and we can catch their notes in the chat. It should be a good way to send off what has been a singular whiskey experience, to say the least. So yeah, final sip of the Glen Scotia coming up later tonight in the happy hour. And then for folks who can stick around, 9 to 11, it's Telex and Malt Show. Tonight we're going to do 2 tastings, as we do every week. We got some kind of different whiskeys that we're going to be trying tonight. This should be a lot of fun. The first one we're going to try, Amrut Fusion. This is from India. This is a single malt. It is the fusion supposedly means it's a blend of Indian and Scottish barley. So a tasty one. I quite enjoy it. It'll be interesting to see what Telex has to say. And then in the second hour, we're going to check out Brimstone from Balcones. This one's going to be really interesting. It's a really smoky barbecue whiskey. I've never really had anything quite like it. I'm surprised I was actually able to drink this much of it simply because it's just not a whiskey that I'd find myself reaching for to sip on if I wanted to have a dram. But, this is something Telex just has to try because it's just so different. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But, I think it's quality. And I think Telex will definitely have an interesting experience trying this, as I'm sure he has never had this one. So Amrut Fusion, Balcones Brimstone are coming up on the Telex and Malt Show. So I hope something just got knocked over. So I hope folks can hang out for that. As I said, it should be a lot of fun. Somebody mentioned before, yes, I did post this on my Instagram. I was able to get a bottle of this Glenmorangie Taste of Cake. It is the funkiest looking box I've probably seen. Not going to open it quite yet. I think Telex and I will probably do a live tasting of this in a week or two, but really, really interesting stuff. 46%. It is finished in Tokaja dessert wine cask, which is a Hungarian dessert wine. But look at that bottle and that box. I'll show you what the bottle looks like. I don't know how many of these there are going to be, but I do like Glenmorangie quite a bit, so this should be a lot of fun to try. This is what the bottle looks like. Something else, man. So yeah, haven't opened it quite yet. It was definitely not on my radar necessarily, but every once in a while you stumble across something and you got to pull the trigger. So we'll have that maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks. We'll see. Anyways, with that, let me catch up on the chat, see what else is going on. Andrew Page. Hey, what's up? Got Mr. Cloudy lined up in the glass. Yes, excellent. Yeah, so Andrew's one of the folks. Daniel also has one who I think is in the chat. And Lost Cause were the 3 folks that won the Patreon raffle for that. So maybe all three of them will be here and we can all taste it. Okay, right on. Yeah, that one was interesting. I remember there's just it's like a wine finish or something like that. Yeah, pricey too. And that's NAS, if I'm not mistaken. It's not like the 12-year-old or something. Hey, what's up, Anthony? How are you? How are things in King of Prussia? Ski says live. I'm assuming he said love the Russells. Yeah. Oh, Kentucky Spirit. See, I like the Kentucky Spirit more than this. I think these Russells to me are so confectionery, so much cherry marshmallow and that high corn. It's a little bit too sweet. I just don't quite enjoy it as much as a lot of folks do. I had bought the original single barrel some time back, and this was years ago, and I didn't really love it. And then I came across a store pick, and it had been a long time since I'd bought anything new. So I decided to roll the dice with it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just not quite doing it for me, but it's not bad by any stretch. And it's definitely quality. Peter loves the store picks from Russell's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of what I'd heard too. Again, I haven't been out really shopping for anything in quite some time. And so decided to, go look at a thing or two this weekend, and I came across it and just had to grab it. I just never really see that. Hey, Emily, how are things in Florida? Thanks for swinging by. Hopefully you can hang out at least to the bottom of the hour. We're having a send off of sorts. last dram of Mr. Cloudy, the Fuzzy Cask. Amberwood's one of my favorite distilleries, says Peter. Yeah, I have not had a lot of Amberwoods. I've had the regular and I've had this Fusion, but they have a bunch of releases. I don't see them very often. Would definitely love to try more of them though, for sure. He did Brimstone. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see what Telex has to say about that. Yeah, got to put it away eventually, right? Starting with making a PX finished scotch. Oh, really? Dude, Donner Pass is like the mad scientist. Man, that sounds interesting. Do keep us posted on that. That's interesting. Yeah, they're not easy to find. That is for sure. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, they're really new. Yeah, that's pricey, but it's not too, $73. That's definitely worth it. I would have done the same thing. At Malt Muser, I can't stand that ring part of the Glenmorangie box. Yeah, right. Ardbeg does that too. It's a little bit annoying. Daniel says it isn't poured yet, but it is. And he's got the glass ready to go. Yeah. Mr. Good Riddance. Yeah. So, I'm really excited to get into that. So let's move things along. I'm going to finish this off and get this Westward in the glass. I don't know what I think about that Wild Turkey or that Russell's Reserve. Same thing. Sometimes I sip it and I really enjoy it. Then most of the time it's just too damn sweet. Anyways, all right, y'all. So I got something to share with everybody tonight. As I just mentioned, Westward. This is an American single malt. Here's what they got to say. It's a celebration of the American pioneer spirit. Made from scratch from Pacific Northwest 2-row barley, fermented with ale yeast. Outstanding flavor, double pot distilled, never chill filtered. So it's non-chill filtered. There's no age statement. They're relatively new. So this is an NAS, probably just a couple of years old, if anything. I don't know if they can add color. I don't think there's color added, but it is rather dark. Who knows? So this distillery has been getting a decent amount of praise. I see people talking about it on Twitter. I've definitely seen some reviews pop up that have got some pretty high accolades for it. So I'm really excited to try it. Let me know in the chat if anybody else has had anything from Westward, or to be honest, this is my first ever American single malt. I don't think I've ever had a single malt from anybody that's US. Not that I can think of. Not offhand, at least. Anyways, I got a fresh glass. Let's crack this. I do really like the look of their bottle. They got a really nice presentation. It's pretty minimalist, which is kind of the style these days. Obviously, with the exception of the tail of cake, but it seems to be something that we're getting generally is a more minimalist approach, which I like. Aaron is another one that's doing it kind of like this, but yeah, pretty good looking. But let's see what's going on with it. All right. Looks like a real cork. So it mentioned ale yeast. I do feel like you smell a bit of beer on this. Fruity too. Here we go. Okay. We'll let that tame down for just a second. It is a neck pour after all. See what we're going to work with. 45% ABV, which is exciting. Hey, Mark. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. You're never late. Yeah, K&L, I wish they'd shipped. When I was in DC, there's definitely a large list of California shops that I used to have shipped to me. And they didn't even ship to DC, which was a bummer, but they always had good prices. There's a couple other ones I'd recommend out there that are really good at that. Oh, cool. Yeah, do so, Emily. We'll do it at probably bottom of the hour. So if you can come back in about 15 minutes, that'd be cool. All right. Yeah, I know, right? It's one of those things, man. And this comes up for me. This happened with the Ardbeg Black. I mean, I was not looking for the Ardbeg Black, but there's a shop over in southern New Jersey that I have like a little bit of a relationship with. The guys know me by name because, I come in there like once a month and just see what they got going. So, it's only a matter of time before they're like, hey, man, we got one more bottle of the we got one more bottle of the Taste of Cake if you want it. So I was like, okay, hold on, I'll try it. Same thing happened with the Black. They were like, we just got the Ardbeg Black committee release. Do you want it? I'm like, oh, yes. So, I'm a sucker for that every once in a while. And I think this will be a fun one because I don't know how easy it's going to be to find. So it might not be something that we can find again. And Telex and I had been chatting about doing a Glenmorangie tasting early next year. So this should fall in line with that perfectly. But I think maybe next week I'll crack it on the live show. Why not? Get my bearings on it before I send a sample to Telex. What else is going on? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be curious which ones you had, or if there's any that anybody recommends. Yeah, this one has just caught my eye because it seemed to be getting a decent amount of attention. People were all into it. So as you guys know, American or anything that's a single malt, which this is, means it's 100% barley. Here's a look at the color. Let me go in and try this out. There you go. Again, 45% ABV, non-chill filtered. Probably, who knows if they've added color. I don't know what the laws are. I mean, bourbon, of course, is an American whiskey you can't add color to. I don't know if that's the same for single malts or not, but no age statement. So this is a young one, probably for sure. They're a relatively new distillery, but let's see what they got going. Wow. Subtle nose, little funky, yeasty for sure. They mentioned ale yeast on here. You're definitely picking it up. It has that similar smell of like walking into a microbrewery to go sit in their tap room. If anybody's been to one of those before, you definitely know that the smell that those places have. Grainy, kind of green, kind of musty. Getting a lot of that here. There's a little bit of fruit too. Sweet. Yeah, the nose is, again, relatively subtle. It's not too complex, it doesn't seem. There is some kind of almost grapey red fruit in here, like red grape. Yeah, I'm really getting a lot of that yeast smell. I don't think I've ever got that off of a whiskey before, quite like I am here. Really fresh. A little bit of a sour note, which maybe goes hand in hand with yeast. All right. give it a taste. Mm. Sweet, sour, bitter. Ooh. That's new. Really spicy on the back end as it goes into the finish. And again, that yeasty, almost beer note coming through really strong on the finish. The palate arrives rather nice though. It's pretty medium viscosity, kind of delicate almost. There's some fruit, there's some vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, but as it develops, you get a huge kind of pepper, spicy hit, which is a little bit difficult to discern between youthfulness and spice, but it seems like a combination of both. I think folks who've had a lot of younger whiskeys will know what I mean by that. You get that intense spice note, but some of it's just the rough edges of a young spirit. Medium finish. The finish is really, really what's interesting here so far. Vanilla, light caramel, light brown sugar. There's a little bit of a chili pepper thing. And then again, it's this doughy, yeasty, fresh bread kind of thing, which is kind of wrapped around it. It's almost as if, you know, when you have a lightly smoked whiskey or lightly smoky whiskey or a lightly peated whiskey where it's just kind of in the background, asserting itself as the, you know, as everything else in the dram is kind of hitting your palate. It's just lingering there. I do feel as though there's a little bit of mint, spearmint, like sweet spearmint, but also like menthol. This is impressive and unique. If I was going to compare it to, like, you know, when I talk about this beer note, like what would be the beer that I'm thinking? I mean, this is definitely more like a brown ale. I'm thinking something like, you know, maybe comparable to like Newcastle. So it's a darker, more robust ale. But it's not overpowering it. It's not taking center stage. You really do get a actually relatively competent, straightforward, well, not straightforward, but rather nuanced spirit here, with a few surprises, and it just kind of has that extra note going on. I quite like it. This will be interesting to see what happens with oxygen. Let's put a little water on it. Especially with young whiskeys, you know, I think they can take a bit more water, but since this is 45%, I'm going to actually try a full teaspoon here and see what happens. I'm actually quite curious to see what's going to happen with this. Wow, that's that bready, yeasty, doughy note, sourdough. Wow, it's interesting. It's actually much stronger here now. It's actually more dominant on the nose. The nose was relatively subdued, as I was saying before. But now it seems to have really kind of picked up a bit and being more dominated by that yeast note. That's really strong. I don't know what this is aged in. My guess is it's all ex-bourbon. Decent legs. Moving relatively slow, sort of fat. Yeah, makes sense. All right. I mean, granted, these are neck pours. Okay. Dark chocolate, almost like chocolate covered espresso bean. A little bit of aggressive spice. Again, that finish is holding on nice. Malted milk balls. Despite the that bread note, the kind of yeasty note coming through stronger on the nose. It's actually chilled out a bit on the palate with the addition of water. A bit more balanced. Still though, medium on the finish. This is actually pretty interesting. So this is a bottle. I mean, this is $70. I mean, it's a craft presentation. It's probably not the easiest thing to find. I'm assuming they're going to be a bigger player over the years. I know they have a couple other bottles out. I think if you're, I mean, you know, if the notes I described are something you're into, this would be worth checking out. And, you know, supporting American Single Malt distillers is always a plus, at least worth a try, in my opinion. But this does come at a little bit of a hefty price tag, around $65-$70. So, you know, I'll do a full review of this eventually, but, you know, my first thoughts on this is really interesting. I quite like it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, you know, when Oxygen does its magic on this, interesting to see what else. There is some complexity underneath those heavy kind of bourbon notes and that doughy bread note. They did a good job with this. I feel like that yeasty note, they could have like overdone it with that. And that could have been totally overtaken this whiskey. You know, I think about some of those like beer barrel aged stouts and stuff like that. And you get whiskeys that have that in it where it's just so much of that. This reminds me in a way of the the Glenfiddich IPA, in the sense of like, I expected it to be just so over the top IPA flavored that it would actually be not interesting. But I was surprised by how balanced it was, and I'm getting a similar balance on this one. Yeah, y'all. Okay. I expect exciting things out of these folks. Based on this alone, yeah, keep your eyes out for this. Definitely try it. If you're ever at a bar, one of your favorite whiskey bars, they got a little bit of Westward up there, man, give this a try. It's unique. Palatable for sure, has a little bit of complexity, and pretty damn tasty. All right. Okay. That's getting better with every drink. Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's starting to taste like a milkshake. It sounds crazy, but it really is. Here's one more look at that bottle. Westward American Single Malt. Keep an eye out for that, y'all. And I almost feel like I need to have another pour of this. The more I drink it, the more I'm really liking it. First, it was a little shocking, but it seems to be really, the palate adjusts, you know, y'all know how that goes. Settles down a bit. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, do let me know if any of you have had Westward before. Like I mentioned, they're out of Portland, Oregon, I guess. Man, this is interesting. All right. Let me hop back in the chat. In about 6 more minutes, we will get into Mr. Cloudy. Andrew Page. Fusion and Brimstone, but they couldn't manage it. Fusion gets good reviews. Brimstone just... Yeah. Brimstone is a very interesting whiskey. I'll be excited to share my thoughts on that. I actually thought it was really good, but it's just not something I want to drink a lot. Stranahan single barrel strength. Ooh, there you go. That's good stuff. I have not. I know High West is starting to do their own stuff now. They used to be MGP, but they're starting to actually do their own distillate, if I'm not mistaken. Less, 95. I had to do it. I mean, it's the same price as some of their private editions. I think their private editions are always pretty quite good, you know? Yeah, so I didn't feel bad about it. Westward's thing is beer yeast. Yeah, I'll be interested if they do any others. This is the only one I've seen so far. And it's complementary, the beer yeast, not overpowering, not dominant. It is complementary. I'm actually quite impressed with that. You know, sometimes y'all, I mean, everybody probably has one, you know, those craft distillers in their town. You know, you go there and you try their stuff and they're hyping it up about how great, and it's just like so youthful is not really all that interesting. This is an exception. I can see why this is starting to get some notice because this is quite good. Word. Hey, Molasses, what's up? Better late than never. Nah, you're never late. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, folks are chatting a little bit about Westward, Woodford, all that good stuff. Good evening. Yeah, what do you got in the glass, Molasses? All right, y'all. I don't think Lost Cause is here, but Daniel and Andrew Page, if you guys want to pour your glasses of Mr. Cloudy, I think it's about time we get into that. So just as a quick recap, Mr. Cloudy here has been an odyssey. 4 months ago, I got this bottle. I was really taken back by this shoe polish, chewed vitamin, chemically note. From what otherwise is a distillery that I absolutely adore. Over the past couple months, I've been doing tasting after tasting of this, trying to see if it gets better, trying to see if that note disappears. It hasn't. I sent a sample to my whiskey partner, Telex, the whiskey tech, and we did a tasting. He agreed there was something off about it. Then I raffled off 3 samples of this to supporters of my channel on Patreon. If any of you guys are interested in joining that, because we'll be doing this again sometime in the future, drop the link in the chat. Appreciate any support you guys are willing to give. But we, Andrew Page, Lost Cause, and Daniel all have samples of this. And we are arrived at the end of the line here. And so, you know, I'm looking forward. Basically, I'm thinking the way we'll do this is I'll put this in my final dram in the glass here. If Andrew and Daniel want to share their initial nose notes in the chat, I will put them up on the screen for everybody to see, and we'll do a little virtual 3-way tasting of what has been an incredibly odd singular whiskey experience. I'll also mention that this whiskey led to me doing a interview with the head master distiller of Glen Scotia and their brand ambassador regarding this and other things. I have it on my channel. Go check it out if you haven't yet. It's a cool interview. And the consensus has been that the cloudiness wasn't necessarily the issue, but the taste definitely. So I did not buy this from Glen Scotia. I bought it from a third-party company, despite the fact that this is a hand-signed shop bottling, meaning you would really only get this at Glen Scotia. Take that for what it means. And so we've arrived here at the last day. I saw Mr. French said if this is a celebration or a funeral, a little bit of both, I guess. It has been a really fun journey doing this with you guys through. It's been entertaining each and every week to sip on this, especially through this COVID pandemic. And it's provided a lot of fun chat. And so I'm excited to finish off this crazy bottle. So, gents, if you are in the chat, feel free to just ping in the chat box and let me know that you guys have poured these whiskeys, and let me know your nose notes, and we'll do this. Here we go. The last cork pop. Oh, as crazy as ever. You guys are in for something. And here it goes. We will leave no drop It's all going to get tasted tonight. One more look, y'all, at the cloudiness of Mr. Cloudy. There it is. So Andrew Page, Daniel, if Lost Cause joins, I hope you guys can put this into your glasses, and feel free to begin sharing your nosing notes in the chat as we go along, and I will amplify them on the channel for everybody else to see. I got mine going here. Daniel's already got one. Hey, Juan is in the house. What's up, Juan? You've arrived at the right time. Whiskey Ace says dark and stormy. Hey, Lost Cause is here. Great. Awesome. All right. We can all do this together. Again, appreciate you guys for supporting the Malt Muser channel on Patreon, and like this is just going to be so much fun. All right, y'all. So Daniel's got it in the glass, and he's saying, so I get some red fruits, but it's overshadowed by the stench of armpits and the bread mermaid. There's. So you are confirming what Telex and I have said. I'd be interested in what you think of the color. How cloudy is this appearing for y'all? I know I'm getting the end of the bottle, so mine is even cloudier than most. I mean, it is opaque at this point. But what does the color look like to you? Molasses says it's the special sewer release. Definitely. Andrew wants to know the ABV. So let me give you guys all the rundown. 56.3% ABV. The notes on it, this is about 10 years old. They say rich sherry and peat nose. Oh, I won't share the rest of the notes. It's a classic whiskey, though, they say. This is about 10 years old. 56.3. So this is cask strength. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, again, it's, you know, as I have just been saying week after week, it's like chewed vitamins, chalkiness, shoe polish, varnish. Telex said chlorine, definitely there, but there is good stuff underneath it. There's good stuff underneath it, and that's what has I think been the tragedy of this, is that like there is good whiskey underneath this. Andrew Page says dirty dishwasher look and sheen to it. Yeah. Our third taster, Lost Cause, surprising amount of ethanol on the nose. Yeah, okay. God, I shudder to drink this. My God. Yeah, I mean, as I was mentioning, like there is good whiskey in this. It is just overpowered and overshadowed by that ridiculous note on the nose. Let me know in the chat if you guys have had get anything else off of this, and if not, we will, or anything else you want to share. You've earned it. You won. Let's get into the. Then we'll get into the taste. God, there is some just like dark brown sugar, red fruits just hiding beneath that. Trying to look for the vitamin notes, but I can't get on the musty wet towel. I think the vitamin note might hit you a bit when you taste it. Lost Cause says he's scared to swallow it. I would be scared too, man. This is going to be something else. All right. Patreon tasters, the final sip. Here's one last look, everybody, at the final pour of Mr. Cloudy. He says you're a courageous man for drinking this every week. But you're right, there are good notes too. I know, right? They're beneath that ridiculousness. Cheers, Donner Pass. Here we go, y'all. As I've said, for the last 4 months of tasting this, the palate is great. It's great. The palate is really, really good. It's the nose and the finish, which were horrible beyond, well, which were so off beyond recognition. And there it is, leaving me with one last reminder of Mr. Cloudy. Oh, there it is. Let me check in on my tasters. How are they doing? Yes. Goodbye, Mr. Cloudy. It is gone. Daniel, one of the Patreon winners, says, who has a sample right now for those who are just joining? We have Daniel, Lost Cause, and Andrew Page are all tasting this right now along with me. They got samples in the mail finally. Lost Cause, it tastes like chewing on a sweaty Dr. Soul's insole that was sprayed with Febreze. Oh man. I've been adamant it's like Flintstones vitamins. But y'all are hitting it. What's up, Trooper? It ends so bad. I know, right? That's the thing. On the palate, you're almost like, this is actually pretty good. And then, bam, it comes right back around. It makes my mouth feel like it was sprayed with antiseptic. Oh, that's good. Andrew Page is going in. When it first hits the tongue, it does not taste like a single malt. And then it develops a little and then falls apart. Yeah, right on, man. Daniel says it tastes like the Dallas Cowboys defense against the Falcons. Oh, yeah, the Browns. Yeah, that was brutal. He says I might have to pour some back into the sample jar and give it to someone else. Yeah, feel free to spread the love. Stephen Connor's in the house. What's up, man? You arrived at the right time. We're having a funeral. After the taste and the end of the nose, it isn't bad. Yeah, man, that's the thing. It's just so weird. Donner Pass. Can a man who's full really understand a man who's starving, Donner Pass? I think in this case, the answer is definitely no. Oh, man. All right, let's check back in on our tasters. I don't know. I'm going to have to put on a hazmat suit and spray this thing down before I do that. LOL, says Ace. Oh, I can't wait to pump this whiskey up to a buddy of mine. Wait just to see his face. Yeah. That's great, Daniel. So y'all, you've all had Lost Cause, Andrew Page, Daniel have now all consumed some of the enigmatic Mr. Cloudy. Trooper says it sounds like a frog select taste with Schlitz. Oh man, you're killing me with that. That's too good. Andrew Page says, got to give credit to Mom. Was it hard to believe you drank this every week for entertainment? Yeah, man. I also did it out of a sense of obligation. You also have to keep in mind, I spent like $130 some on this bottle. I'm committed. Daniel says, did you just give me COVID? I can't confirm or deny that. I'm going to pour it out for a friend and tell him it's special. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll do with this what you want. It deserves. This is like watching this is the kind of thing. You remember like that horrible video, Two Girls, One Cup from like 10 years ago, where like people just record their experience watching it, or recorded someone else's experience watching it too. This is what that whiskey is. It's completely a stunt at this point. Still ponder. Yeah. I don't know. So, I did talk to Glen Scotia about it. I talked to the people who sold it to me who are not Glen Scotia. They said the cloudiness was normal, but the taste didn't sound like it was. I think something went wrong with this. My hypothesis has always been that something went wrong with this with the people I bought it from, and they didn't want to fess up to it, but I really don't know. And I don't think we'll ever know because, look, I mean, Glen Scotia, I think, makes really good whiskey. even before I bought this. And in fact, the reason I bought this is because Glen Scotia 15 was my whiskey of the year before. I got no connection with them. I didn't know much about them other than that. And I thought that whiskey was so good. I was like, this has to be amazing. I have a hard time thinking that they would put this out for the public to buy after doing a distillery tour. I just don't believe it. So what went wrong, how this went wrong, where it went wrong, it will always be a mystery, my friends. I am going to try and figure out how to do a mashup of like the 4 months that we've been tasting this on the happy hour, because I think that could turn into a really fun video, and you all's comments are going to be part of that because this has been great. Yeah, it leaves a horrible taste. Maybe I don't know if you get it the same way I do, but like, doesn't it taste as though you just like chewed a bunch of like Pepto-Bismol tablets or vitamins, like chewable vitamins from when you were a kid, where it's like tart, fruity, but chalky, and then has this kind of like acidicness, sourness. It's such a ridiculous. It's nuts, man. I'm glad I'm not crazy. Telex confirmed it. You guys are triple confirming it. This wasn't some new whiskey note that I've just never experienced before, and therefore I'm like revolted by it. Like, there's something up with this. And there's a bunch of folks in the chat, I'm including Stephen Connor, who's commented on this, Emily, a bunch of folks who have highlighted that this is a weird whiskey based on what they heard and what they saw. Take a look at the screen. We're getting confirmation. Yeah, it's a sure whiskey for sure. It could be the cure for COVID. Emily Chambers. I bet the fuzz kills viruses. That's good. So what's your next mascot? I don't know, man. I don't know how this can be beat. This was something else entirely. And honestly, like I said in the beginning, I appreciate the folks who supported me on Patreon to get these and won these raffle samples. I appreciate Telex for tasting it. This is just, and honestly, all of you in your comments and just making this a thing. It's been a lot of fun. It really has. Who knows what's next? But for now, she's empty, except for maybe a little bit of a drop, which is going in the glass now. I'm going to hang on to this bottle. This, I'm not one of these people that like keeps their tins or their boxes or their bottles really, with the exception of Lefroy. And I'm going to hang on to this one because I think it has a certain sentimental value. I'll be glad not to look at it though for a while. I get that now, especially since the chewable vitamins coat your mouth with that weird chalky feel. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I completely agree with you. Ben Demon Hunter said, watching this romance is priceless and hysterical. Let me catch back up. I might have missed someone. You tell me, man. I seem to feel like I feel different after I drink it. There's no doubt. Lost Cause, one of our other tasters, saying I can't get past the chlorine and numbness of my tongue. This is why, like, a bunch of the live stream that I did on this, I ended up having to drink something like heavily peated just to like knock that out because it's still there. I still have it now. And I'm about to add to it with the final sip here. Oh, again, palate's good. Wait for it. Ah, there it is. Good riddance. Real talk, man. It's up to you, brave soul. Daniel's got a few more notes here. Painted the picture of exactly what I'm feeling, but it's just, there's that sour chemical tar taste. The end with chewed vitamins. Yes, chewed vitamins, man. I'm telling you, it's chewed vitamins. Oh, you guys, this is too fun. This has been too fun. Oh, Lord, y'all. This is why we do this on a Tuesday, right? Yeah, man, you're going to need that Ugadal. All right. So the book has been closed on Mr. Cloudy. May it rest in peace. Lord knows, hopefully we won't have to for quite some time. I am not responsible for anything that happens to you guys. But I can tell you after 4 months, I still have my vision. I am going to knock this out by going back to a bit of Russell's Reserve. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out and experiencing this. It's been fun. In about 10 minutes, we're just getting started because the Telex Malt Show will be live. Tonight, we're doing some kind of interesting tastings. Amrut Fusion, which is a single malt from India. It is the Fusion is a blend of, I shouldn't say a blend, it is a fusion of Indian and Scottish barleys. So maybe a little bit of that terroir thing that some people believe exists. And then, I don't know, for the record, I'm neutral on terroir. Haven't had enough, the sample size is too small. And in the second hour, we're going to check out Balcones Brimstone Texas Scrub Oak Smoked, 3%. Telex this is gonna really mess up Telex's mind, I think, because this is a weird whiskey, but it should be a lot of fun. So we got two interesting ones coming up. As everybody knows who's been here every week, but if you are new, I will drop the link to the Telex Malt Show in the chat when we are ready to go live. And I hope you guys can all join. It should be a lot of fun. Yes, Emily Chambers. Emily's been probably here since the beginning, which was way back in May. Feels like 1,000 centuries ago. Bye-bye, fuzzy indeed. I am going to hang on to this bottle, though. We'll figure out what to do with it. I don't quite know. But I'll tell you this much. I'm just glad that there's nothing else in it I have to drink. Agreed. I like it quite a bit. Telex has not had either of them, so these are going to be two that I've sent his way. Should be fun. Thanks for sending out the samples. That was fun. Looking forward to that Brooklighty Black Art. Yeah. So in addition, I did send some an extra sample to everybody along with this because it felt wrong to just send somebody this. It's like sending somebody anthrax or something. So Andrew Page, I did it through the randomizer, as I mentioned. So he got the Brooklighty Black Art 4.1. I think the second sample that Daniel got was the Highland Park 21. And then the sample that Lost Cause got, I believe, was the Lafroig 25. So all got some $300 or above whiskeys. I hope you guys all enjoy those. I'll be definitely interested to hear your thoughts on them. Either here or next week or whenever you get around to tasting them. I don't recommend you try them after drinking this because you will not appreciate the full experience. But again, thank you guys and thank everybody for the support on Patreon. And of course, for the folks who are here every week to hang out and make this happy hour as fun as it is. It's great. So cheers to that. In the meantime, let's repair my palate, and we are officially on watch for our good friend Telex the Whiskey Tack. I expect any minute now I will have a link to share with you guys as we get into the Amrut Fusion and the Balcones Brimstone. Let me get back into the chat. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't love it. I do like wild turkey a lot, but this is not one of my favorites. I would prefer the full-proof wild turkey or the single barrel over either of the Russells. I don't know why. This is my first one revisiting it in a long time, and I'm still just not loving it. Not that it's bad. I think it's a quality whiskey. It's just not my style. It's almost too much cherry marshmallow confectionery, which I know is like a note that everybody gets in wild turkey. But for some reason with these Russells, it's overpowering, and it just doesn't quite do it for me. That's just me, though. Whiskey Ace. There is not necessarily terroir in whiskey unless you're talking sourcing local ingredients, wood or yeast. You bring up a good point. For those not in the know, this is something that's kind of controversial in whiskey, is this terroir idea. The idea that like the strains of barley and where you grow them has a unique impact and unique flavor profile that it brings to a whiskey that you can't get from others. Some people think that this is a fact. Some people think it's total BS and that like there's no way anybody could really tell to any measurable degree. I don't know. I'm sure there are people in here who have strong opinions, and maybe those who have no opinion because they're just hearing about this now, but it's a thing. I encourage you to check it, research it, read a little bit about it. It's a fascinating debate, and arrive at your own conclusions. Let's see what else we got going on. I was almost ready to give you some notes on the Highland Park 21. Let's do it next week. Yeah, don't go to the Highland Park 21 now. You will not get to experience that well. Everything is tainted. You need to knock this out of your mouth somehow. You need something that's 50% or higher. Donner Pass, you crack me up. He's right. And we're going to get all into the Balcones thing and this brimstone, which I got to tell you folks, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying there's nothing like Balcones brimstone. So I hope you guys can join us for the next 2 hours to chat about that. I will drop the link when it's ready. Should my samples, my brother are only 4. Oh, the 4.1 Black Art. Yeah. I love Bruichladdich Black Art. All 3 of those samples I sent to folks are whiskeys I absolutely love. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your support all the way from Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us. Great question. I just saw this, Silverlock. I have not. So Highland Park just released an NAS cask strength that's like 60%, 63%, something like that. I feel like that's a must buy when it comes in the States. I have not seen it around the States yet, though. If anybody has, drop me a line. Let me know, because cask strength Highland Park is, that's definitely piquing my interest. I've always been curious about Black Art bottling, so I'm looking for it. Yeah. So the first 4 of the Black Arts are from former Bruichladdich master distiller Jim McEwen, who is no longer there, but he's the one who really revived that distillery. The 4.1 is the last one he did. Everything after that is the new master distiller. I don't know if that makes them better or worse. I've not had any of the newer ones, but I can tell you this unequivocally, that the 4.1 is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. So let me know what you think when you get to try it. It's a real treat. And the Highland Park 21, the Lefroy 25 that I sent to folks are stunners. So I'm definitely looking forward to hear what you guys think about those and enjoy them. Herbal wild turkey. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I heard about that. So a 13-year, that might actually do it for me, because I feel like it would bring more oak influence. I'm not interested really in oaky whiskeys. It's not my jam. I think Stephen Connor and I were talking about this last week. The thing with older bourbon is that, you just find it being over oaked the older it gets. And that has a lot to do with climate and barometric pressure of Kentucky versus older, Scotland. But I feel like a 13-year might bring a little bit more of the cask influence that would balance out what I find to just be an overly sweet, candy-like nature of the Russell's Reserve. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, 100% Cohen, you know what's up. Exactly. You're 100% right. What are the details on Mr. Cloudy so I know how to pump it up to my buddy? Yeah, sure. One more time. This is a single cask shop bottling, hand filled and hand signed, 56.3% ABV, about 10 years old. It says it's chosen by Ian McAllister, who I interviewed about this, the master distiller. So take that for what it's worth. Non-chill filtered. So one more time. Single cask, shop bottling, hand filled, signed by the filler, 56.3%, about 10 years old, non-chill filtered. Definitely sherry casks. Local barley water and peat, if used consistently over a period of time, would have an impact on flavor profile. Okay, yeah, so we're talking about the terroir thing, yeah. Sorry, y'all, I'm a little bit behind here. Right, yeah, because it has less iron or whatever, which distorts the flavor. Yeah, wild turkey is big on that, especially. I know that, yeah. It brings down the pH level of the water. So before, a lot of bourbons in Kentucky, before they begin the distillation process, you know, when they're, let me rephrase that. When they begin to add water, they use limestone water because it lowers the pH level of the water that they'd use in the original distillate. Fun? Okay. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad you guys got to try it. And I hope everybody enjoyed this little live chat about it. This was a trip for sure. It looks like Telex the Whiskey Tech is ready. So I'm going to drop the link here in the chat. So I'm going to have to cut my check on the chat here short, but everybody, I hope you guys can join us. As I mentioned, we're doing Amaret Fusion and Balcones Brimstone. Should be another 2 hours of exciting whiskey chat coming your way here on a Tasty Tuesday. So do hit that link. And before you go, feel free to hit like, subscribe if you haven't. It's been a lot of fun, as always. And if I don't see you on the live show, check out my review on Friday. I'm going to be reviewing Glengoyne 10. I'm doing a 10-year-old every month or every week here in the 10th month, October. So check that out. And if not, I'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody.